like to have you address what is going on down on Exchange, where the city bought land at $1.6 million and is going to sell it to one of the cronies, can I say it that way, for $294,000, and the city will not get paid back for 27 years. Is that what I read in the Beacon Journal?
That is what you read.
And what do the citizens of Akron get out of this? A few part-time bartending and pizza making jobs down there? Is that it?
Well, let me say this. There's a place for what I quote unquote would call, and let's talk about this in terms of a subsidy, where there is city money that is assisting a particular business or venture. There's a place for that. On this particular project, there's no need for any subsidy. They're making about, I think it's $600-700 a bed in this unit. And I remember when the first project came in, the developer said, this is the hottest thing going right now. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, why are we subsidizing the hottest thing going? Because it should be able to function on its own in a system. Now, if we do some public improvements and do some things, I'm not upset about that. But you brought up the very point that I was asking on Monday, is trying to determine, well, how much money have we put into this site, and what are we getting back out of that site? And when I saw the purchase price, I think it was 200, and if I remember right, 264,000. Then they also paid for the demolition cost. That's a drop in the bucket to what we paid for that site. And to me, that's a problem.
Would you say that our council is a rubber stamp?
I would say that I have probably seen about 4 instances in the last probably 6 years where they actually stood up and made a decision different than what the mayor has proposed. I want the council to function, to do its job, because it will make the mayor do a better job. There's supposed to be a tension. There's supposed to be some give and take. There's supposed to be discussion. There's supposed to be a challenge to a particular idea, because when that happens, good stuff bubbles up to the top, and that's what we've been missing. But it's gotten to a point where it's so ridiculous. Legislation will come in. It's supposed to be in by noon Friday. Get your new legislation list, okay. You should figure out what committees are going to meet on Monday based on that. No, you come in on Monday, there's more legislation. Like, okay. Then, sometimes more legislation comes in the afternoon. Then there's an expectation that it be passed on that day. No reading, no discussion, no thought, and that's where we have gotten to that point. And council doesn't demand that everything be in and hold account, because council can say, well, we're not dealing with that today because it didn't make the deadline by Friday noon. End of story. I'm going to tell you, if we did that a couple of times, that whole thing would change.
How does the Mike Williams for Mayor platform address the hundreds and hundreds of vacant houses and foreclosures in this city?
One of the things I think is important, and I'm going to a 2-day forum on it, actually Friday and Saturday, is the community gardens. This is I see this as a way to utilize some of the areas of the city in which we should be contracting and doing some things differently in those areas. we have to continue to be aggressive in both securing and eliminating vacant homes, because they are keeping our strained police department busy. And I tell you, it was, I never forget, I went to a Marcy Street Block Club meeting. And they talked about all that was going on in the vacant homes that were going, prostitution, drug sales, you name it, it was going on their streets. After I left that meeting, I was ready to issue everybody their helmets, flak jackets, and M16s. And that's how bad it was for them. So we have to eliminate those problem properties. Now there's another group that is very interested in rehab and returning those homes, and so it's a you have to look at that particular community, what makes sense in terms of an investment, particularly when our dollars, and we've already learned most of the rehab, other money that we've done, the new construction, is related to the community development monies. We've already heard that those monies are going to be cut. So we have to be even smarter with the dollars that we have in terms of where we're investing them in and what we're doing with those dollars. It makes some sense to rehab in certain circumstances. Other circumstances, it makes absolutely no sense at all, and you need to eliminate the housing and figure out a different way to use that property. Let me say this. It's extremely important, and you will see a focus, a refocus on neighborhoods.
Great.
Okay?
That's refreshing.
That is key. My dad used to say all the time, we asked him what he wanted for Christmas when we were kids. He said, all I want is peace. That's all I want. I used to look at him, I'm like, well, you know what? That's down on the shelf at O'Neill's. What do you want for Christmas? But I've learned to understand and appreciate what he's talking about. And everybody should be able to come home and have peace. Okay? That's the most important thing. You've dealt with stuff all day long, stuff that's outside of your control. You should be able to come home and have some peace. You should be able to sit on your porch and read your, I won't say the Beacon Journal because they haven't been particularly friendly to me. Read your plain dealing. What side is it? All right, something else.
I work for the city with the fire department. My wife teaches in this building right here. We live right up the road. Okay, I don't have to live in the city anymore. Okay, because of the Supreme Court ruling. I like living in the city and I like where I live. What kind of things have you guys done creatively that's going to pay for this sewer project? And when I say, has there been anything looked at to pay for it? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know how long I'm going to stay in the city paying $300 additional on my water bill when I can go and live in Green or someplace else and not paying that. But I like I said, I enjoy living here. But it seems like there's always creative things to give Albrecht's money for a building over here, purchasing other things and giving people things. What creatively are you guys going to do, or have you even talked about, to take care of this?
Sewer funds are set aside specifically for this. Because I have had to have discussions with folks. Well, look at that money over there. No, that can't. We have all the money in the world sitting over there. That can only be used for sewers.
We know
Period.
about the different funds.
Right, right. Yeah, I know you guys.
We're very aware.
But not everybody in here knows that. Okay. So typically, that's how the sewers are paid for. Operations, upgrades, everything else. So that is your primary source. And that source comes from the sewer rates, which are based upon your water usage. Okay. Your basic question is, have we looked at other sources to do this? Traditionally, we have. And the traditional source for that has been the federal government. Because typically what they have done is they'll issue a mandate, but the mandate will come with money. And that was one way where you were getting some of your federal dollars back into this community. That was how that was done. Now, obviously, that stopped even before it even got bad economically. That stopped. So, and that's where you get these unfunded mandates. That's where our problem really is. And if you look at where cities are around the country, we're not alone in this scenario. It's going to take federal intervention in order to pay those bills, because the individual communities can't pay that bill. It's more than what they can do. And that's where really our problem is right now.
I want to speak about the unsound business practices of this current administration. Because beginning with the school issue, there was a 0.25 tax. Promised City of Akron citizens 51%, okay, of the jobs. You know what happened? They said, no, we can't do it now. Even though they put it on the ballot as we could, they promised us that. Then they found, okay, we can't do affirmative action hiring for the people of the City of Akron. Then with the sewer issues, which is coming up now, we were spending money on a tentative contract that was never confirmed. So why are we making unsound business practices like that?
Same reason.
I mean, these are critical. I mean, each one of these could have been creating thousands of jobs for people in the city of Akron. These sewers to be fixed over this period of time, those jobs could be going to the people of the city of Akron. They could be working those schools. They should have been projects that people of the city of Akron should have been working. But all the decision making has been unsound business.
And that was part of the commitment that was made to the citizens of Akron. When we all went out and talked about this, that was one of the things that we talked about, was that Akron has to get the majority of those jobs, and that has not happened. Now, I'm going to tell you, there's been a couple of projects, there were none but California license plates at the site. That's what's been going on. That's important, particularly for our community, to have those jobs and money to be turned around in our community. That is the key to our economic turnaround here, is local people working. We have to get back to work.